Welcome back to Red Faction 2. So this game's all over the place. 1 minute we're working for the Chancellor, then we're going to kill him, and now we're going to try and kill the guy and his co-conspirators after just overthrowing the bloody Chancellor.
Don't you see, Basically, that's what happens during revolutions, of course.
Basically, it seems that it's civil war. Now, okay, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this couldn't work. In fact, honestly, I could totally see a Metal Gear Solid plot where you're working with a faction, but then your faction splinters, and well, it's you and some guys against you and some of the other guys. I mean, when you get down to it, that's kind of what happened from Metal Gear to Metal Gear Solid, whereas the Fox unit were the good guys at first, but then kind of became the bad guys by the time of Metal Gear Solid 1.
Well, that's the thing, that Metal Gear Solid will at least try to make sure there aren't bits missing.
Also,
it feels like parts of the story that would have helped explain it better are just not here.
Also,
exactly.
Staying generic because it's a story-specific spoiler. One of the Tales of games actually has that as its core mechanic. You work for the first half, for the interest of one person, and then that person turns out to be the villain of the second half, and you have to go against them.
That is, yeah. Like, I mean, again, like I'm saying, there are examples of this being done well. The reason this is not well is, I'm sorry, we did not get to know our team nearly well enough for this to affect me well enough emotionally. And, I get it. We're in a period where story in games wasn't that great, but the thing is, they clearly do want us to care because the story does make a big deal.
Remind me. This is 2002, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, by this point, we had Metal Gear Solid 1, Final Fantasy games that were already super prevalent at this point.
Again, let's just stay contained to the FPS genre, Pedro. Like I said, Half-Life came out right around the corner, but even so, there have been countless, Eastern European-made FPS around these times that, because of their own nature, they tend to have actually, very deep and over-ambitious plot.
A turret section.
Anyway, okay. For the rule of thumb, Pedro, yes, storytelling in gaming was starting to, become more noticed in the PlayStation era, but I wouldn't say it was considered a priority until, say, like, 6th gen, where that was the point where people were like, okay, stories actually have to matter. I'm not saying that there weren't games with plots, but like Teo hinted, especially in the FPS genre, story was not considered as necessary.
Or at the very least, just summed up. Stuff like Quake did technically had a story, but it was mostly condensed in small bits of text, like say you're beating a Lovecraftian entity, the end,
That being said, I don't think it applies to this game because I get the feeling they want us to care about this moment because the cutscene makes such a big, deep, dramatic moment, even implying that one of the people who stayed on our side had to stay behind and may or may not be dead now. Like, they clearly want it to be a big deal. So my question is, why didn't you focus on the team dynamic more? Like, I mean...
It's almost like releasing a game like this barely a year after the, over a year after the first one wasn't such a hot idea.
To capitalize on the AP, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's jarring because, yes, there are bits where we do go off with certain teammates, but I wouldn't call that getting to know them. It's more they're just, hey, do this, or I'll tag along, and that's really it. I don't really recall any heavy character stuff like...
Hang on a minute. I recognize this track. This was from the first game.
Also, Girly, kind of a bad idea to let us know you've got a trap up ahead, but I guess she's just that confident that she'll win.
And hopefully no one is tapping into our frequencies.
She learned her place from Mala in Superman 64. I've hidden the workers in the dam right below. And okay, thanks for telling me, Mala.
I assume she's the one tapping into our communication since she reached out.
I mean, they only just betrayed us, so they probably still have the communication.
Like, is it bad that I can't even really remember most of our teammates' names? Like, I remember Molov, I remember Brian. Triangira, I think is her name. It starts with a T and sounds like try.
Like
so-
we've said, it's only the most memorable people are the ones that get the celebrity voice acting treatment.
Yeah, and Henriksen is the main bad guy now.
And Jason Stefan.
Okay.
Go on, yeah, for the Commonwealth, whatever that is.
Right, yeah, there's still this war going on, I guess. Like, I'm sorry, Molov's motivation is just, well, you know, the dictator was a dick, but he wasn't running things right. Now, allow me to run things and blatantly betray all you guys without any sense of compromise whatsoever, because...
Again,
he betrayed, like, all but 2 or 3 of us.
Again, it's the whole, Megamind thing of, oh, you're not free, more like under new management.
And mind you, there's an idea there, like, that sort of storytelling, the idea of the people supposedly fighting for freedom becoming as bad as their oppressors. That's a story as old as time, especially in the story Animal Farm, essentially. But this just ain't it. First and foremost, because I do not know these people well enough. I don't know about this world well enough. Heck, despite Red Faction 1 drawing and hinting heavily at this confrontation, I don't feel like I know enough to care enough.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm at least not to that point of like legit just absolutely not caring whatsoever to the point where I just felt nothing. But yeah, no, that's a similar issue. But okay, anyway, so our characters are of course Alias, Lars Repta, who I believe stayed on our no. Yeah, he stays on our side, I believe.
Do you mean that big guy?
Or you?
You know, big guy, blockhead, spiky hair.
No.
Okay. He's the one with the goatee.
I thought that was Stephen's character. Stephen's character is Strike.
Oh, God,
okay.
There's 2 guys with goatees. Okay, the one with brown hair, not blue hair.
No, I think he's betrayed us.
Alright, never mind. Now it's like we're commenting on the host again, where Jova lost track of which of the 2 pretty boys was who.
Also, that mentioning kind of reminded me, I forgot it because I did remember the announcement, but I did not remember when it was released. There's actually an officially licensed Animal or George Orwell's Animal Farm video game. Text-based adventure.
Really?
Yeah, it came out at the end of 2020. I thought it was going to, come out later, but no, it came out 4 years ago. So I'll probably check it out eventually.
You just reminded me of something, Ter, like you brought up Megamind. You know how in the original movie the Binky gave him power and allowed him to shoot lightning or whatever it was, right? According to the TV, the recent TV show that everybody's clowning on, apparently the Binky is the MacGuffin of ultimate power that allows that basically it's like you have all of the Infinity Stones. It's just like, hold on, if Megamind's Binky was always this powerful, how the hell could he not defeat Metro Man to begin with then?
Well, so, okay. I mean, now we've got a new mission that's honestly not that exciting. We have to take down snipers.
I mean, I guess it's better than finding the computer room.
That's the thing, though. I think even in Shadow the Hedgehog, you're doing more things than in this game.
Also,
yeah.
Also, did the other teammate just fell down the the hole? She was trying to jump onto the balcony, but she fell down. Oh.
I guess so.
Shadow, who are you talking to? So even though I just fired you for being a traitor, here's your next mission.
Anyway, okay, so I think I've got a better case of who's on which team. The people who stuck with Molov are Repta, Shrike, and Quill. Tangier stayed with us, and Echo, who was the leader of the Resistance working with us, is also on our side.
I think another thing that doesn't really help is the fact that most of these characters have name and appearance that feels like they're straight out of a Rob Liefeld 90s comic book. And the problem is that this game was done in the early 2000s, where that where the Fed was quickly dying out at that point. Again,
Yeah, this fight,
okay.
I think I'm going to get the middle ending.
Again, if this was the first game in the franchise period, I will just say that it's just there, you know, without leaving me too much of an impact. But again, there's a foundation behind this. I don't understand how can you make such a different and bad product.
Jesus.
Surrender or oh.
But
While
yeah,
you kill
no.
them, while you kill them before he could
What you
finish his sentence.
say?
And then his Dwibs, and then his spirit comes in to haunt you. Hey, I wasn't finished.
What the?
Anyway, you're saying
I thought
too?
it was gonna be like surrender or gets blood up, the spirit comes back. Die.
I was basically done, Jove. Again, I just don't understand why, you know, with a first title. I don't understand why with that one title behind you, you know, can you deliver such a different and vastly inferior product?
Yep.
Yeah, like,
that was the guy who betrayed us again.
okay, so let's say my best guess is first and foremost the lack of dev time, but even still, that doesn't excuse the downgrade in storytelling. Again, I won't act like Red Faction was the master class of storytelling in games, but it had a competent narrative. One that worked. What the heck? Why are we in a black void now? Oh, that's supposed to be underwater.
For a moment there, I thought we were in Teo's playthrough you're in again.
Oh,
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, okay. I get it. We're underwater, but underwater's not normally that dark, is it?
No, it's not usually. Unless you're like at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, but still.
in that case, you're playing Soma usually.
Hold on, I got it, guys. This is why Cloud's Buster Sword got so dirty. He dropped it in here.
What
It makes
It
sense
takes
now.
to find the thing.
It makes sense now.
By Jove, he's right.
Yeah, and then Cloud had to. Yeah, that's why Cloud was. That's why Cloud never talked to Tifa for all those years. It wasn't because he was being a dick, because it took him that long to clean the sword. But Cloud obviously couldn't say that to Tifa afterwards because that would be too embarrassing.
So, from what you mentioned, Dwibs, remind me, did this game, like, flounder at sales?
That I'm not sure on. I mean, we didn't get another game till 2009.
Well, yeah, considering they didn't really come out with a sequel right after, I have to assume that this probably failed.
I would normally assume that too, though sometimes companies are just weird, and like, even when something is a success, we don't get a new game until a while. But, okay, to be fair, from what Dwibs has told us, it sounds like fan reactions weren't the best at launch either, so that would lend credence to the idea that this game kind of failed, and that's why they didn't.
I mean, the PS2 version, at least according to VG charts, it sold about 1.50 million copies.
And as I mentioned in one of the previous parts, the scores for the PS2 versions were not even that bad, apparently. So, and I can kind of understand, you know, for the time this was made, this was, again, a perfectly run-of-the-mill, you know, type of shooter that you could get, you know, and just pop it in. Especially because the rental market at Blockbuster was still a thing.
In that case, then, my best guess would be fan reaction was bad, and the game didn't sell well enough as to why, you know, well, for one thing, it took ages for a third game to come, and apparently why the third game just dropped this and did its own thing gameplay-wise as well. Wow, all this data about Quill, and yet I still feel like I know so little.
I know a name. And they got not more than one.
But yeah, no, also, and, you know, PS2 games, so this complaint is pretty common, but still, it begs repeating, lack of subtitles for mid-gameplay.
I mean, to be fair, not to be fair, but I have to be honest, Joe, that, you know, back for this era, barely anyone was giving a shit.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
amazing
I mean,
how... Sorry.
I mean, there were some who did. It was definitely inconsistent, though.
It felt more like a luxury more than a necessity.
That's the thing. It's like Kojima was the only one who thought, hey, maybe we should put subtitles on this thing, even back in 1998.
Well, imagine, maybe there's some important story details that people might miss without subtitles. Golly, what a novel idea.
I guess they thought, for a game like this, the story doesn't matter, so it's so they thought, who cares?
And even then, remember, during the PS3 era, when it came to shooters, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them did also the problem where the subtitles shrunk and were minuscule for no adequate reason, other than, oh no, they might be too intrusive on the screen.
Alias, don't shoot! It's us!
He wasn't even
Hurry up.
pointing the gun at you.
One of my spies reported in. Molov's making good on his threat. He's using
Nanomachine, son.
to process a new kind of soldier.
It was the in thing at the time to write in stories.
Totally loyal to Molov. With an army like that at his back, we'll never be able to
That
defeat
face.
Oh my god, that looks so terrible.
Oh, what
Wait,
you say?
he's just dead?
Yeah,
Did they
he's dead.
just flipping kill Echo, one of the main characters, just like that?
Again, they want to symbolize the horrors of war, and oh, finally, a decent original weapon.
The problem is that
in the last game.
the problem is that the cutscene was paced and directed with all the finesse of a fucking rock, so it just falls flat. Okay, can I talk about how, like, when you watch that guy from the front, seriously, it looks like his face is splattered into another face because of the way the hair is done. Like, no, that's the thing. Like, seriously, go back and pause that when we're watching his face right in front, and you'll notice that it feels like it's a face from a different model being photoshopped into another.
I mean,
like,
maybe that's the technique that they use in order to actually have the leap movement.
I guess.
Alright, Dwibs, tell us about this new toy.
The railgun is from the last game.
Oh,
And,
well, fair
does-
enough.
Although it's also a bit isn't, at least for the second view you get looking through it, trying to find heat signatures, it's not as good as the last game. Instead of being the shapes of the people, it's just a little signal on the screen.
Will you still consider it the BFG of this game?
Well, you don't get that much ammo for it. So.
Yeah, that could qualify. Again, the entire point of a BFG is that it's basically, if not a screen nuke, still the best weapon that you can get, but... Okay, but, you know, you don't get much ammo, so you have to conserve your shots for it.
But yeah, to follow up to what you were saying, too, when I was experimenting with the PC, the Steam version of Remember Me, I swear the default size of the subtitles, at least on that version, looks so fucking tiny. And the only way, and guess what? There's no option in the game to increase the subtitles. However, you can increase their size by going into the game's files and editing through text editor or some stuff. So the game does have a subtitle size configuration. It just doesn't give you a chance to do it unless you go out of your way to mess with the
Again,
game's
considering
files.
the game was released in 2013, back then, the idea of, variable size was not really considered that much. I wonder who...
But if you're going to make the subtitles configurable anyway, why not put the configuration itself on the options menu?
My theory is that it's a remnant of the game, of testing the game. They were, the people that don't know were testing different sizes, and then settled onto one, and they just left the option there in the code because they did not thought someone would tamper into that. Mattress, yes.
Yeah,
Where'd the music go?
there isn't any. Dan and the other composers were on holiday.
I mean, you would
I
think
guess
They needed it, but
you would think that with the death of not even if it's not important, a character that the game made a point to make the death super tragic, and dramatic, they will actually keep, the kind of tone for the rest of the level.
well, speaking of level, yay, another one in the sewer.
Lovely.
I think the problem is that...
Actually, don't worry. Actually, no, don't worry. Shortly. Because now we're going to go up to our next boss fight.
I'm still gonna count it.
Quill, I guess.
Hi. Yep.
Again, she looks,
So
she looks like Marrow from the X-Men.
I'm guessing the idea is that...
Been too easy. I'd rather play a while.
Oh, you're one of those bad guys, I see.
Yeah, and we're also facing the, those...
Your red faction
Zombies,
won't to your rescue either.
Yeah.
Those who are left
Guess it's
alive
because there's
are
a
little busy
graveyard.
right now.
I guess they're also the zombified soldiers or whatnot, so... I'm guessing the idea with boss fights is that since I'm guessing Molov gave them nano enhancements so they don't go down as easy to gunshots as mooks do.
I mean, I don't think I can know because this is just going by default with the rocket, not the rocket launcher, but the grenade launcher.
Well, it's the most effective weapon.
Huh. Yeah, it seems to really be effective against the zombies too, like... I wonder,
still think
where's...
you need to master a bit on the distance.
Bro, yeah, you're
Alright,
kind of getting up
there's the
close
church
with
door.
that stuff.
Knock knock.
Do you think we'd let you just waltz in? You're trapped.
Yeah, we can't go in that way.
Aren't you the one who's trapped, if anything, since you're the one who had to barricade yourself in there?
Well, in any case, we need another way in.
Surprised that the grenade launcher doesn't open the doors, are you?
I tried. Well, I'm pretty sure I tried. But...
Yeah.
Thinking about Tangier? So is Molov. Lots are captured alive. The scientists working for him have a little experiment in mind. Fry the brain and strengthen the body. That's their motto.
Okay
What a
then.
charming bunch of scientists they are.
I mean, remember, Dwibs, you cannot be a scientist if you're not playing God.
Yeah, I was gonna say this Red Faction doesn't like scientists very much.
Dwibs, didn't you learn anything from the climax of Street Fighter 20? You weren't in that, were you?
No.
Or was it?
you
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay, basically, Dwibs, here's the lesson to take from the climax of Street Fighter 2010. According to the villain, you can't rule the galaxy as a scientist if you only use your discoveries for good. So obviously, you have to become... I'm not kidding you, that's literally what he says. The dialogue is literally this. You can't rule the galaxy if you only use your discoveries for good. You have to become evil.
Also, that walking cycle.
Oh, don't tell me. We can sneak in through the catacombs to get into the church.
I guess that's the idea.
Pretty
The reason I love that so much is because I just love the rationalization. Like, well, I could be a good scientist, but if I'm a good scientist, I can't rule the galaxy. Well, I guess I have no choice. I have to become evil.
Also, all those ashes we are desecrating.
I'm sure it's for a good cause.
How
Yeah, I'm
many
sure.
years of bad luck is that? I know crushing tombstones is a particular amount of bad luck, but I don't think anyone's ever covered, desecrating ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, well,
But Jova,
I mean, it would be bad
MGS5...
if you inhaled it in the air.
Jova, MGS5 told me it's totally fine as long as you rub it onto yourself and, feel sorry for them.
Of course.
Well, MGS5 was like...
Damn it.
Alright.
Where
Gotta be
to?
some hidden way through.
Maybe don't waste your railgun ammunition. Oh, can't see shit with the scope.
I guess not.
Okay, Dwibs, is this because you're not finding any more civilians and now you're destroying just the ashes?
I mean, they're dead anyway,
Oh
so...
my god.
Jesus Christ.
Not even the dead are safe in your presence.
Again, they're dead, they won't mind.
You do
You're
know
one
that some of
step
the dead
close to-
literally raised.
You're one step close to grave robbing, Dwibs.
Make sure to
I'm
remind...
not grave robbing, I'm blowing them up.
Dwibs, remind me never to let you play any of Peter Molyneux's God games.
Oh, well, or even Fable, because honestly, I think I mentioned this in the past, but the evil options in the Fable games, the Peter Molyneux has this weird sense of morality where you're even, the paragon of sainthood or Satan incarnate. Again, not even kidding you, in the very first Fable game, divorcing for your wife gives you more bad karma points than actually sacrificing her to regain your youth.
Ah, so it's the opposite of Takeshi's challenge.
Like, how does that even work?
Hold on, I'll explain to you in a moment, Jova. Go on, too.
No, I was done. Again, I get the thought process of wanting to, make sure to make the player understand about the good and evil, but geez, there's a sense of finesse in doing it. God, Pedro.
Takeshi's Challenge is an NES game, Jova, where you have to divorce your wife to complete the story. I'm not kidding. Like
you have to do a specific set of actions, like learn Shamisen lessons, buy a specific item, then divorce your wife, then...
That's the thing. That's what you're supposed to do. But you can also do something else. You know how back in the NES era, and even still kind of to a lesser extent today, Nintendo's prides itself on its family-friendly image, right? In Takeshi's Challenge, which is a licensed Nintendo game, by the way, it's not a bootleg. It was given the Nintendo seal of quality. It was licensed by Nintendo themselves. This is a game, Jova, where you can literally murder your wife and children. I'm not kidding. You can really murder your wife and children by punching them until they die.
Just so you don't have to divorce your wife?
Because basically, Jova, if you divorce your wife, she takes your alimony, right? But you can, so basically, Jova, we need to keep Dwibs away from that game.
When I hear about a game called Takeshi's Challenge, and I looked into it a bit, I thought it was mainly a game just based off of a game show or whatnot, so maybe it'd be a bit of a quiz game with some puzzles and challenges, but you're telling me that there's something as crazy as either having to divorce or bump off your wife just to get out of paying child support.
But that's the thing, Jova. That's one way to actually go to beat the game. The other more famous one, the lesser famous one, because not many people covered it, is that on the title screen, you have to punch the A button, if I recall correctly, which is the punch button, something like, God, how many times? Like, at least 1,000, if not almost 10,000. Let me check, just to be sure.
Goodness gracious. Anyway, this script level is still going.
It is, yeah.
Basically.
So what genre is Takeshi's Challenge officially as a game, I'm curious?
Platformer with a component of immersive sim.
Yep.
Interesting.
The sad part is that it achieves that better than Epic Mickey 1 and 2.
Ouch!
I know that I realize that the Epic Mickey fanbase is gonna eat at me by saying that, but well.
Takeshi's Challenge, is that by any chance in relation to the game Takeshi's Castle?
It's done by the same person Takeshi Kitano. We forgot about the guy that we saw in the Battle Royale movie.
Okay. Wonder if we'll recover that game for the channel.
Takeshi's Challenge. I plan on doing it, but I'm definitely using an infinite health cheat as well as other possible cheats because that game is literally painful. Literally.
I can tell you, Joe, that it's not.
Old.
I can tell you, Joe, that it's not really, that much of a work of overlook, if you ask me. Like, again, he made, made people talk back in the day. It was kind of like the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde game. Sure, made people talk and made, a couple of videos where people, talk about it famous and everything. But the game in itself, to be actually played properly, doesn't really feel that much, if you ask me.
It sounds like it's definitely one of those old Nintendo hard games of the day.
In this case, it was done on purpose, because Takeshi Kitano... well, he's still insane, so...
Yeah.
So I have heard.
It's kind of like Desert Boss in a way. There are some, creators that just want to do experiment things for the sake of having a laugh.
Alright, so this is the, boss. try and she's not going to move from that spot up there. So try and get to her while also dealing with the enemies on the ground.
All right. So it's basically a climbing challenge.
You'd think she'd use something like a sniper rifle, given her vantage point.
And that's pretty much it.
Pathetic. I never understood what Tangier saw in you anyway. Up close and personal? Suits me. A kill's a kill. At 1 yard or 1,000.
Ha!
The one-liners in this game are, they're not exactly going to give Spider-Man or Metal Gear Solid a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's another reason, partly why they got at least Jason Statham involved. Because Jason Statham's pretty much modern day Army, except with like 1,000 times more better acting ability. Maybe he can make one-liners sound good.
That said, even with that in mind, his presence is not what I would call enough to save this game, since Shrike really seems to dip in and out of the plot, especially for somebody who you apparently hired a big-name actor for.
I mean, I remember a B3 build, Statham wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe at the time he was planned, or heck, wasn't even planned originally, but then at one moment they did get him and they're like, okay, let's have him voice Shrike instead.
Alright, I'm just going to try and grenade to oblivion.
Why not use... Oh, right, you wasted the ammo on the railgun.
I did. Don't worry, I got a plan D. Destruction.
What a shock. Also, that stained glass window is apparently strong enough to withstand explosions.
It is.
Okay.
Why aren't all... never mind bulletproof glass. Yeah, this church's glass is this, or enough.
Glass-proof glass, yes. The latest technology.
You know, it might be a cheap reason, but at least they could have added that as an excuse to why the environment is way less destructible than in the first game. Given that was a selling point.
It will still be kind of a dumb excuse to put in, again, the entire problem is not so much that there's no excuse in plot for that to happen, it's more the actual fact that you cannot do it.
Oh, obviously that would not salvage it, but I guess it would make it at least somewhat palpable.
It's kind of like, I guess Dwibs, you are familiar with the... Many of you are familiar with the Kane and Lynch games.
Yes.
Not really.
It was done by the team. Yeah. Basically, the first game was all about, one of the gimmick was about having psychotic, sequences, because one of your main characters, was undergoing therapy, and if you don't get, D therapy, you have specific, psychedelic episodes, which were giving a bit of a novelty. Comes the sequel, and we're nowhere there, because the in-game excuse is that the character in question is taking the meds regularly. I mean, sure. Still kind of a bummer,
So do you have to clear all the mooks before you can hurt her, or can you just
No, you can go for it.
She's super spongy, I can see that, yeah.
Again, I'm guessing the reason that bullets don't hurt her as easy as they do most mooks is, well, story-wise anyway, is the nano machines.
I guess so.
I mean, shoot, I guess if a story can't come up with a reason, I might as well use some idea of logic. And mind you, that's not me giving the game a pat on the back. Sure, even if it's something I could infer, I feel like it's something that the game could have mentioned that, hey, we're using nanomachines on the bosses to make them more powerful. I mean, mind you, it's probably the least of this game and narrative's problems, but it is still an issue. This music sure is something.
I mean, at least it's present this time around.
Although, once again, the sound balancing is not the best.
Yeah, apparently, I haven't tried it out myself that much, but apparently, according to a review I saw, the voice volume is also tied with the volume of the guns.
Oh my god.
So instead of having a voice and sound effect separate, you know, not option, but you know,
No,
presence.
there is a sound effect separate. There is a separate sound effect option, I think.
And yet they're connected at the same time?
How does that work?
I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, now the glass can shatter.
It's a for convenient effect, Jova.
There you are. She fell into the white void and died.
Do you have a one-liner for the glass, Dwibs?
No.
Bummer.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the one-liners in this game are horrible, so I think we're spared on that front.
Guess that's a boss down then.
Anyway, join us in the next part where we do even more sniper killing.
Yeah.
See ya.
Cool.